every project I've ever done in my life. I'm putting in all of this effort and I'm like not seeing the results that I want, and eventually I just have to throw in the towel. I don't want that to happen to you guys. Guys, I'm sitting at my desk today because I have some very important stuff I want to talk to you about. Everything that I did to get monetized on YouTube in 6 months. If you're new here, my name is Catherine and I have a fashion channel and I talk about thrifting and do a little bit of vlogging here and there. I started my channel in the end of October, beginning of November of 2023, and I put up a couple of videos at the end of last year. Took a little break, then I started kind of posting more consistently, and just recently on May 1st, I got the notification that I was monetized for watch page ads. There are multiple different kinds of getting monetized. YouTube has rolled out some other options that you can do, I think, with only 500 subscribers. But for the watch page ads monetization, which is sort of the OG of YouTube monetization, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So it can kind of take a second, and I know it can be challenging, especially if you're like making video after video and you're staying consistent and you're not getting those results. I honestly understand. Like, it's very frustrating to feel like literally every project I've ever done in my life, that has been the situation that I have been in, where I'm putting in all of this effort and I'm like not seeing the results that I want, and eventually I just have to throw in the towel. I don't want that to happen to you guys. So I'm gonna tell you kind of the 10 things that I did, and maybe they'll help you too. And a couple things I regret as well. Number one, I invested in a camera. Did I have to do this? No. Do I think it helped? Yeah, actually I kind of do. I bought the Sony ZV-E10 or ZV, it's one of those. That's what you're watching me on now. I think for vlogging, if you're gonna be indoors, it helps to have a nice camera, especially if you're going to shoot at night like I am right now with just a little bit of overhead lighting and a lamp here. It like adjusts all the exposure and the color, and there's a little beauty filter on it. It helps. I can also shoot in 4K, which yeah, you can do that with your iPhone, but it just is a lot nicer on this camera. I know that not everybody can afford to just go and buy a new camera. Personally, I put mine on a payment plan. I might even still be paying it off. But seriously, if that's the situation, like, you can definitely use your iPhone. I have been seeing a lot of like low quality videos on YouTube getting a lot of viewership lately in a way that I think is very, very cool. I think people are getting over that kind of like glossy, saturated HD look a little bit. So I'm not gonna say that like having a nice camera was a requirement, but I did post my first video in 4K. I like specified that, and that may have had an impact on why the algorithm pushed it out, because I was lucky enough that the algorithm did push that video out, and that might be a reason why. Am I an expert? No, but this is just my experience. 2, I shot what I know. What do I know? I know thrifting. I know organizing things in my closet. I know talking about fashion trends. That's what I know. And not only do I know that, but I also know that those videos do well on YouTube. There are things that I'm interested in that I don't know a lot about, so that's why I didn't make videos about them when I was first starting out. Like, for example, I love watching high fashion videos, but I don't know as much about high fashion as I do about thrifting, my own closet, and like mall brands. So that's what I made videos about. And the good news is that when you start making videos about stuff that is really core to you and that you really know like the back of your hand and are a huge part of who you are, your personality can shine through, and then people attach to it more. I also took inspiration from other people. When I got back into YouTube at the beginning of this year, after taking like a little break around the holidays, I saw that a lot of people were making videos on their personal style tips of like, these things will make you instantly stylish. A lot of people were making that same video. I don't know who the first person was that did it, and I don't think it's a bad idea to take another person's video idea and then give your own spin on it. Like, for example, my first video was my thrifted winter wardrobe. If you want to show your thrifted winter wardrobe, by all means, you should totally do that. I think it's a great idea. What you may not know about me is that graphic design is my passion. I'm just kidding. But Canva is actually my passion. I love Canva, I use it for my job, and I just like love like making collages and stuff in general. I spend a lot of time on Pinterest finding pretty images for fun. So I was able to turn this hobby into making thumbnails that I think are really cool. I don't worry about doing research on like what the best thumbnail is. I just developed an aesthetic and I decided to stick to that. It'll probably change over time, honestly. But I think as long as your thumbnails are like interesting and pretty, they don't need to follow any specific guidelines. I heard someone say once that like you get more clicks on your video if it's a picture of you with your mouth open, like, oh my God. I personally can't stand that, and I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all can't either. So no pressure to do anything like that. But like, do try to make something visually stimulating. You can do it. Canva's the easiest thing ever. It is so fun too. They're not sponsoring this video, but they should be. Audio is worth the investment. If all you have is your iPhone, that should be fine if you're close up. If you're gonna set your iPhone on a tripod and shoot yourself on the other end of your apartment trying on clothes or something, get a lav mic, a lavalier mic. It's a little microphone that clips onto your clothing, or that you can even, I've seen people hold them so that we can hear you clearly. One of the things I love about the camera that I did buy, it has a microphone mounted on the top with a little fuzzy windscreen thing attached to the camera at all times. So that's what I'm using right now. I'm not using a special mic, and I don't necessarily need to, but when I'm far away, I use the lav. But I will say, like, the iPhone is very versatile. When I do voiceover, I have found that it's easier to just speak into my iPhone as a voice memo and use that as my VO track than any other way of doing it. So all I'm saying is make sure the audio sounds good, and that also includes like good music. I think putting music under your video helps. I made the investment of getting an Epidemic Sound subscription when I first started making YouTube videos. I don't know that you necessarily need to do that, but I also don't think it's a bad idea, especially because it's another way to like customize your stuff. Number 6, I go the extra mile with editing. It probably doesn't show in my channel, but I did study media in college, which involved editing video. I've been using social media as long as everybody else has, and so I've also edited a lot of video on my phone. And I have a video editing software on my computer. I use Adobe Premiere. I don't know everything about using Adobe Premiere, honestly, but I do try to play around as much as I can with like different graphics, dropping in, you know, text, little sound effects here and there. I mean, like, it feels like it's like very standard at this point. I feel like all of the YouTube girlies have little sounds and little graphics that they add in, or little zooms here and there. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but I really do think that like a little something extra that isn't just a static shot, it keeps people engaged. The more engaged they are, the longer they watch the video, or the more they'll comment on the quality of the video, which tells the algorithm to push it out. You get it. You guys get it. Get into editing. It's super fun. There's a lot of really good videos on YouTube also that will teach you the basics of editing. You can also, if you got Canva Pro, you can also edit video in Canva, and that's another thing that I have found to be really useful if I'm ever doing, like, if I ever want to put graphics from Canva into a video. Just a little tip. I didn't even charge my camera before making this video. It's so fucking funny. 7. SEO is important, but so is everything else. I think like the days of needing to make sure that everything that you do in your video is like mentioned in the title of your video or in the caption of your video are like kind of over. I don't think it's that critical anymore. I'm pretty sure that like the platform uses AI to like analyze what your video is about based on what you're talking about and what you're doing in the video. That's why you see people post videos with like no information except for a title that just says like, this was the worst day ever, and like, it will do well. It's like, because their thumbnail is good, they're getting clicks anyway, or because of like what they're actually talking about in the video, the algorithm knows and is pushing it out because they're like, wow, like she's talking about something really important. Other things that I think help, having closed captions, making sure that you fill out all the little information on the back end in YouTube Studio for every single video. I put timestamps for almost every video, I'm pretty sure, unless there's like no chapter breaks. Like I always will make them up. Number 8, consistency is important, but it isn't that important. It's just something I learned. So for me, I started out pretty consistent. I think I started in November and I came out with 3 videos before Christmas. And then I was like, I can't keep up this cadence. I have a lot going on right now. and I didn't come back to my videos until February. And something that I noticed was that like my followers that I did have were still there when I came back, which was honestly not that many. But also that like, you know, the success of each video is gonna be based a little bit like on how it does when it's pushed out to people who don't already follow you. And while I do think that posting on a regular basis is gonna keep people who are interested in your videos coming back, when you're first starting out, I really feel like it might help you to just not bite off more than you can chew. So if all you can do is like post every other week, I still think that it's possible to grow. If everything is top-notch quality, it really only takes like one fluke of a video to do well on the suggested page and bring people to your channel. That being said, I did finally see that I was on track to be monetized when I started posting every single week again. Did that take a lot of work? Yes. Have I fallen off since then? Yup. I'm just sharing my experience. And then the last thing, personality, baby. If you can be yourself on camera, then you will win over an audience. If you can win over an audience, they'll comment things, and then the algorithm will respond to that. I have been so personally touched by the really kind comments that I've gotten from strangers on YouTube, more so than any other platform I've ever used. TikTok, Instagram. Honestly, they're nicer than the comments I receive from my own friends on Instagram. And the reason, I think, is because I am not worried about what anybody thinks of me on YouTube. No one knows me here, so I just say what's truly on my mind and I have fun doing it, and I think that people will respond to that. I don't want to be presumptuous, but like, am I amazing? Okay. So these are just a few of the things that I focus on in order to get to the point where I'm monetized. I am now officially monetized on YouTube. I think so far I've only made like $10 or something from AdSense. So I am not a millionaire yet, but never say never. We're capable of big things. I don't usually make videos about YouTube, but if you want to see more videos about fashion and thrifting and day in the life content of a girly in NYC, you should subscribe. Hit the little like button as well if you like this video. It would really help me out a lot. And in the meantime, you can follow me on Instagram at katdookie, TikTok at katdookie, and Pinterest at katdookie2. I love you. You're beautiful. And never forget that everyone is a princess. Shout out Paris Hilton. Bye.